Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that we are witnessing one of the craziest bottoms in crypto forming right now. No, I'm not going to give you guys my opinion on this. I'm actually going to give you guys the stone cold facts on why not only do I believe that this is the case, but all of these signals are flashing, pointing to us being bottomed out, building out a floor, and preparing for the next big run-up. So let's dive on in. I stated here that people don't realize how bullish it is to see Saylor selling Bitcoin, because Michael Saylor has been selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. This is, I think, his second sell. And if you guys do remember, every single time that Saylor would buy Bitcoin, historically speaking, we would see a major market dip shortly after. And that's because when we have a big name, especially a public entity that has to tell us like, oh, by the way, we bought Bitcoin, it's typically not a good sign. It's almost like if tomorrow big bankers were on mainstream media saying like, oh, by the way, crypto is the next big thing. Like, oh, we just invested into crypto. Like typically, historically speaking, every single time that mainstream media would spotlight crypto, it would be a local top or the top of the market. So the fact that we have this like crazy bearish event, like, oh, Michael Saylor, one of the biggest accumulators of Bitcoin, is selling Bitcoin, I feel like it's to really kind of blow things out of proportion, get retail scared, which is why I look at it as a very bullish signal. And yeah, I do think that we are also in an accumulation zone, as Sir Rob is saying. And if we look at what's been really kind of being posted out there, I said it here that majority of these large influencer accounts are pushing doom and gloom narratives every day to justify their bearish position. I recently said something and I will repeat it. Bitcoin has been chopping in the same price range for over 6 months. During that 6-month period, we got the following: the US and Iran war, multiple crypto companies shutting down, yen intervention, cold card hack over, $80 million. I think it's actually like over 110 or something like that. It's still ongoing. Clarity Act odds plummeting, and then Saylor selling Bitcoin. What did I miss? You have all these bearish and negative events, but somehow Bitcoin is still around the same price level it was in February. Kind of crazy how the echo chamber is screaming lower, all while failing to realize the obvious. And the obvious is the fact that we have been chopping for well over 6 months now. In the same price range, by the way. But I'm not the only one. We have over here, if you're in the bowels of crypto Twitter, it's the era of despair. But when you talk to Morgan Stanley or Wells Fargo, it's completely different. Bitwise CIO Matt Hougan on the gap between crypto Twitter's despair and Wall Street's calm. Sorry. If you're in the bowels of crypto Twitter, it's the era of despair. Bitcoin is over. This is the end. But when you talk to Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, UBS, or Merrill Lynch, it's completely different. They started reorienting around Bitcoin 2 years ago, and they move in decade-long cycles. So they're now pointing their guns at this industry and starting to move ahead. That's why Morgan Stanley is launching Solana ETFs, even when Solana is down from its all-time high. Imagine we're 6 months from now and Bitcoin has rallied. Twitter in despair right now will recast today. They'll say Bitcoin is maturing. Our pullback was only 50%. It was 75% in the last drawdown. This is exactly on trend. That's the story at Wall Street already. They're like, Bitcoin goes in 4-year cycles. This one looks better than the last. Of course, we're going to allocate. There's no worry on Wall Street. What will crypto Twitter say in 6 months is the conversation happening right now on Wall Street. This is a nice pullback, a good entry point. Check this out.
What do conversations look like just around macro Bitcoin and crypto on a day-to-day basis over the past couple of weeks? Given what you initially said on this show, like nobody cares about Saylor selling, nobody cares about a hack, nobody cares about, when's the last time we even talked about quantum, right? Like that's come and gone, right? So talk to me about the conversations you're having and what you sense out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great question. It's really hard to impress on people what these conversations are like, because if you're in the bowels of crypto Twitter, it's the era of despair. Bitcoin is over. Never will it rally again. All our principles are being crushed. This is the end. And I keep trying to find ways to convince people that when you go and talk to Morgan Stanley, to use your example, or Wells Fargo or UBS, or Merrill Lynch or anyone else, It's completely different. They started reorienting around Bitcoin 2 years ago, and they move in decade-long cycles. And so they're now just pointing their guns at this industry and starting to move ahead. That's why Morgan Stanley is launching Solana ETFs when Solana is down whatever it is from its all-time highs. It doesn't matter to them. One way to view this perspective is imagine we're 6 months from now and Bitcoin has rallied. Crypto Twitter, which is in despair right now, will recast what's happening today. They'll be like, oh yeah, Bitcoin is maturing. Look, our pullback was only 50%. It was 75% in the last drawdown. This is exactly on trend. And you can almost see that conversation taking place in Twitter. That's the story at Wall Street. They're like, Bitcoin goes in 4-year cycles. This cycle looks a lot better than the last cycle. There's a clear reason to believe we'll enter a new bull market. Of course, we're going to turn towards this. Of course, we're going to allocate. So it's almost as if there's no worry in Wall Street. They're used to this. And I think thinking about that framing, like what will Crypto Twitter say in 6 months, is actually sort of what the conversation is right now in Wall Street. It's like, this is a nice pullback. It's a good entry point.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I completely agree. Like, all of the big players have been allocating. They've been planning around this space for a bit of time. And this at the same time that like retail wants to exit the space like right now. Like even XRP, like when we think about XRP, look at all the big players lining up for it. Look at all the fundamentals. Like, I don't see how people cannot look past the negative price action. I get that it's very overwhelming, but like beyond the price action, so many good things are happening. But also we look at stocks. I mean, stocks hit another all-time high, at well over like 30% of what crypto is actually worth in one single day. And regardless of how this plays out throughout the week, like I still think that the fact that stocks just hit an all-time high should 100% be focused on. And I even said over here, like US stocks just added over 30% of what the entire crypto market is worth today alone. The S&P 500 hit new all-time highs today, while crypto is extremely undervalued and completely overlooked. All bullish signals are flashing while the price action is still negative, with retail sentiment completely wiped out. This is typically where macro bottoms have formed, with the spring to new all-time highs beginning. And although, the spring to a new all-time high will not happen immediately. It just simply will not happen immediately overnight or anything like that. But I do think that the floor is forming. I think that we have been forming a floor. And maybe, if we have been forming that floor for 6 months or so, then yeah, I mean, the new all-time high spring should be very close. It should be on its way. And what time frame could I give on that? I mean, it's hard to justify, but I would say probably by, I feel like by September, October, around that time, we will probably have some pretty significant candles to the upside. But on top of that, looking at the signal that triggered the same to 2017, 2021 crypto bull run, well, it's back. Ash Crypto, the ISM, just hit 55.6, the highest level since 2022. The ISM above 51 signals a growing economy, improving liquidity, and stronger risk appetite. Every single time that the ISM has held above 55, altcoins have gone parabolic. If history repeats, alt season could already be loading for 2027. And although, yes, everyone's kind of scared of the word alt season, I don't necessarily think that's going to be the same as prior cycles. I've talked about this in regards to utility-based assets. There's going to be a handful of altcoins that definitely do perform very, very well. But there's also going to be that handful of altcoins that pretty much just doesn't do much. And it's kind of in the altcoin cemetery. It's just not going to move. It's pretty much dead. But I do think that the expansion in crypto is going to be something very, very significant to watch. And the main reason why I believe that is because I do think that a lot more liquidity is going to enter those utility-based assets that are more mature and kind of serious, if you will, than any other cycle in the past. So when it comes back to XRP, I do think that XRP is going to do a very, very good job at not only shocking a lot of people, but making a lot of people very wealthy. But on top of that, I did say over here that it's almost like we are seeing the bullish signals flashing everywhere. Too many large accounts are going to keep pushing their bearish narrative and most likely will call the breakout a bull trap. The worst raids will be, with the back and forth deals, that have been pushed are just to confuse and trap everyone. People will assume when a deal is actually done that it will be just a reversal at some point in time. But what happens when a deal is officially finalized? That's going to be the real trap along with these large accounts. People are going to think that the war games will continue to be played out and that every bullish push will reverse. Who knows if it will be this push or not, but soon we will break out and leave many sidelined. Yes, I do believe that that is the case. I believe that we will eventually get to that point where we do officially bottom out. And when we do officially bottom out, people will be way too late to the game. And who knows, it could already be bottomed out. Like I said, we have been forming a floor for almost 6 months or so. So it would make a lot of sense if we were already bottomed out. But to build on top of that, we also have crypto trading activity. Crypto trading activity is declining. Daily trading volume across the 44 spot crypto exchanges tracked by Keiko fell to 15 billion. Last week, the lowest level of the year. This marks a 70% decline from just January peak levels. By comparison, in February, there were 2 trading days when volume exceeded $100 billion. As a result, the average daily volume trend has fallen 50% since December of 2025 to 20 billion, the lowest this year. Meanwhile, trading volume remains heavily concentrated, with the 6 largest exchanges accounting for more than 60% of total activity. Crypto market liquidity is drying up, which is also probably why we did see those 2 major crypto exchanges, BitMEX and also I'm blanking on the other one, but I know that it was also another Bitmart. Yeah, Bitmart and BitMEX. Those 2 exchanges completely closed doors. Just up and done after almost over a decade, actually. So if you think about it, like, liquidity has been hitting these exchanges hard, but this is just another major signal that, like, all right, well, you know what, the market's done. It's dead, right? Well, it would make a lot of sense for the reversal to start from here on out, especially considering the fact that liquidity is so constricted. You don't need much to actually move the market in an upward, push, causing euphoria to enter the market again and everyone getting FOMO and all of a sudden pushing things even crazier to new highs. And then the last major signal that's flashing. Again, I didn't even include these in the list over here. Technically speaking, we could say, all right, well, you know what? Stocks continue to rip to new all-time highs. The ISM indicator is continuing to expand with a growing economy, improving liquidity, and stronger risk appetite. What about inflation also dropping? Inflation's dropping. The Fed is now looking more at an easing position. Also, crypto trading activity is completely gone, so retail is practically dead in the water. What could be that last major indicator? What could be that last major signal? Oh yeah, that's right. The biggest inverse signal in history, Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer is now announcing that he's selling all of his Bitcoin, citing quantum computing risk. If you needed to have some sort of, guideline to follow, look at what's happening right now. Every single headline, every single major announcement around crypto that's been negative has happened over the last 6 months, including what we just went over, at the same time that the price chart is still chopping for Bitcoin specifically around the same price level that it was 6 months ago. Yet people are screaming lower, 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 lower. What could possibly hit this market now? When you have all of these bearish narratives, and don't get me wrong, sure, could something go crazy tomorrow and we have another massive bearish, event? Sure, it could. But think about how crazy some of these events have been. A massive war breaking out, crypto companies shutting it down, going bankrupt as well. Yen intervention from the US. The cold storage Bitcoin wallet hacked for over 100+ million. It just feels way too similar to 2022, which is why I feel like this is all one massive bullish signal. We are in the accumulation zone, which is also why I bought altcoins as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord description below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.